Hey folks, and welcome to SAG channel. It's been a while since my last video about clan boss teams, and now it's a perfect moment to make a new one, because I found a really interesting team for you guys. And before we even start, I should say that I was asked multiple times who do I think is the best poisoner in the game. And I think that there is no correct answer to this question, because most of the champions that are used in the endgame clan boss teams are really viable, and it's mostly the matter of the gear and the matter of other champions you have in your team to support them, to make them perform really good. And to prove you my point, I will show you the team which is capable of doing almost 40 million damage on Ultra Nightmare without a single poisoner. There is no poisoner at all in this team. Don't get me wrong guys, champions I have in this team are really awesome, and I'm really proud to have them, but you can always try to replace one of them with the more affordable version, for example an epic or maybe even a rare. I will speak no more and will jump straight to the introduction of the team. The first champion I have is Autumn, one of the best attack down champions in the game. He is really awesome because of multiple reasons. First of them is really good chance to put attack down debuff, and the second one is 3 turn cooldown on the defense up ability, which makes it possible to maintain defense up most of the fight even without other defense up champions. The second champion I have in the team is Draghar Blood Twin. Actually, I've made a video about him not so long ago, and you should really check it. Please follow the link you are seeing on your screen at the moment. But if you want a description of him in couple of words, he's a burn monster and can be built with a really high defense. Okay, and it's time to move on. The next champion is Martyr, and it's really hard to replace her because of multiple reasons. First of the reasons, that she is one of 3 counterattack champions in the game. 2 of them are legendaries and 1 is epic, and it's a shame that we don't have a rare counterattack champion in the game. I've told it already multiple times, and if you agree with me, please leave your comments below the video. And the second reason why it's hard to replace her, it's her kit. She's really good. She brings both defense up, attack down and counter attack, which is awesome. The champion number 4 is Resin, and actually you don't have to find any replacement for him, because he is really affordable. He can be fused by any player. And if you still haven't done it, it should be your high priority, because this guy is capable of doing tons of damage. Also, he brings really good debuffs. He brings both defense down and weaken at a 3 turn cooldown if booked, which is really good. And the last champion in my list, but not the last champion by importance, is Roshkar the Tower. Actually, this guy brings one of the most important buffs in this team. He brings the block damage buff, which makes this team work really good. As usual guys, you will find the links to the masteries of the champions in the description of the video. But now let me explain how this team actually works. Okay, and first of all, let's classify the team. This is so-called Unkillable team. For those of you who doesn't know what exactly Unkillable means, I will try to explain. Those kinds of teams are usually based on 2 buffs, the Unkillable buff and block damage buff. From my point of view, block damage buff is a bit superior compared to Unkillable. The reason is quite simple. If your champion has block damage buff, he completely ignores the damage coming from the clan boss, including poisons and any other effects. The Unkillable buffs works different. For example, if your champion has 40k HP and you take 50k hit, your HP will become 0, but you won't die. And here comes the difference. In case of block damage buff, you don't have to recover your HP after the hit, and in case of Unkillable, you must recover. And also, this can break the rotation. For example, if one of your champions doesn't recover HP to needed level, he might get stunned instead of the preferred champion. Actually, let's say a couple more words about Unkillable itself. We can say that there were a bit different teams pre-nerf, when there was no turn limit for the Unkillable teams. And now, after 50 turns, no matter what buff your team has, Unkillable or block damage, they will take the damage. The team I'm showing you today is semi-unkillable. It cannot survive full 50 turns, because I'm only blocking the damage from the AoEs from the boss, and the clan boss stun is the limitation for my current team. The champion I'm using to eat the stuns, Draghar Blood Twin, is built quite tanky. He has lots of HP and defense, but even In this case, he takes enormous damage on the later rounds, and he usually can survive up to 40-43 turns. There is an interesting fact about my team: it doesn't have dedicated debuff cleanser, and actually it makes it a bit complex to understand how it works. So, to make it work, I need to assure three things simultaneously. First of all, I want to protect my martyr from getting the stuns, because I want to maximize the damage and I want all my champions to have counterattack ready for AoEs. Second thing, I want to protect Roshkard from the stun, because if he gets the stun, the team will simply stop working and we will die really soon. And the third thing, I want the champion whose cooldown isn't essential for team survivability to take the stun. In my case, it's Drekar. Okay guys, here you can see the speeds of my team. Most of the team is in range of 171-178, with Roshkard being the only exclusion from this rule. It takes only 3 turns for the initial setup of the rotation, and after that you can press auto. Cooldown of Roshkard's block damage ability is 4 turns, even if booked. This is a problem, and to solve it, we need to make him faster. So instead of 4 turns, his ability will be used at a ratio of 3 turns. But this is not the only condition. We also want him to use his block damage ability last, but right before the first clan boss AoE. The general rule is to have 4 champions in your group at a speed range of 171-178 and your block damage or unkillable champion on a speed of 235 plus, with your counterattack champion being the slowest at a speed of 171-172 and your main debuffer who applies decreased defense and weaken being the fastest at the speed range of 177-178. But to find the precise values of speeds, you need to use speed calculator. You will find the link for the one I use in the description of the video. There is one more thing really specific to this team, and this is the way how I make Drekar to take the stun. There are multiple factors which are taken into consideration when the clan boss chooses the target for the stun. The most important thing are the buffs which your champions have right before the stun. For example, if all of your champions have increased defense buff and one of them doesn't, most likely he is going to take the stun. Guys, I'm talking about the situation when you are fighting the Void Affinity clan boss. If you are fighting against any other affinity, of course affinity weakness is the most important factor. Second factor which is taken into consideration by the boss is the amount of HP. Small tip, not the exact value of HP, but the percentage of HP the champions have right before the stun. And the last factor you should be aware of is the position of the champion in the team, with the leader being the highest priority and the last champion in the team the lowest priority. So, as you can see, right before the stun, my team has exactly the same amount of HP. Despite the fact that Elton is the leader of the team, he has increased defense, which is a strong defensive buff. That's why the stun goes to the second one in priority. It goes to Drekar, which is exactly the thing I want to achieve. Guys, I really hope that I made it crystal clear the way how this team works. And as usual, if you have any questions or something isn't clear to you, please leave your comments below the video and I will answer them. Also, we have to answer the initial question: is the team without the poisoner is viable? And I think that it's more than capable, because as you can see on your screens, it did 39 million of damage on Ultra Nightmare, which is more than enough for even to key in the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. I think this is a great result. That's about everything, guys, I wanted to tell you today. As usual, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.